Every time I go down to Douglas, it's like, oh, I'm getting calves. My calves are getting fire walking up that little hill.
And then you get to the top of the hill and you're like, okay, I'm there. And then it stairs.
Man, that explains why the music is so fire. These guys are motivated every time they go into the
Yeah, like, if you want to make some music, you better move, you know? Like,
Yes.
all right, we have Lazarous,
Yo.
Stvrk, and Maren with their brand new track.
Astronaut.
Yeah, and it's fire. So, how does this team all come together to make this single happen?
You want to start off, Evan?
Yeah, so me and Laz met online a long time ago.
Yeah.
There was this Instagram account called On The Rise, and they were putting together these engagement groups. And it was like, okay, everybody in this group, send your post whenever you post, and everyone will like and comment and, you know, collaborate and share. It was just a great place to meet people. And yeah, that's how we kind of met. We were in the same engagement group, and we started talking. And slowly, kind of over time, like Laz brought me out to a studio session.
Yeah, I had a studio session at Blue Light on this track, and I wanted to invite Evan over just because I really liked his mixing and mastering abilities. So I wanted to bring him over just to connect with him and collaborate with him. We did the song Pressure on that studio session, yeah. And then I think we just kept communicating after that, and like you kept sending me beats and stuff. And then we had moving along, fast forwarding a bit. I contacted him about potentially, you know, doing like a collaboration together, like a proper collaboration track together. And we just started work on it. He sent me the beats, and we booked a full studio session day at Blue Light. And it was dope. I invited him and a bunch of other people as well. And I think we all like just bonded with each other pretty well. At that point, I didn't know Maren. All I knew was Evan was just like, oh, I have this friend who could totally like do a cool riff at the end. And I'm like, all right, sure, yeah, send it to her. And then
If people don't wait till the end of that song to hear that guitar part, they're like mad because it's incredible. Like every time I sent that track to somebody and they heard it till the end of that track, they're just like, damn, that guitar is crazy. And I assumed it was Stvrk. But no, and we're lucky to have Maren here with us to explain herself on it. But of course, I mean, everything I've heard you do is so dope.
Thank you.
But like, to get you on there, it is that A1. You could put it on anything. You know, you take that writing style and what you do, you could put that on any beat that I've ever heard, and I imagine it would just be fire. You know.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
It's dope that you guys all came together to make those possible. So how does the Maren connection come then?
Well, we actually go to school together. We go to music school together at Douglas College.
Love Douglas.
Evan just one day just hit me up and he was like, hey, like, how would you want to do a solo for a song that I'm working on? And I was like, hell yeah. Like, it was my first placement, first actual song that I was on that's been released. So that was really exciting for me.
Yeah, like, how long have you been playing guitar for?
Since I was about 6 years old, so that's gonna be like 16 years now.
Jeez.
Yeah, a while.
Like 6, you're just like fresh. You're just like freshly learned how to walk and everything at 6.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
No, but seriously, kudos on that guitar part. It's like at the end of that track, it really sort of ties the whole thing together and just makes sure that you want to hit repeat and play it back again.
I remember the day that I received the solo. It was a text from Evan. He's just like, yo, the guitar solo just came in. And he's like, bro, this is what the song needed. I played it with my roommate at the time for the first time. And then we were both like, what did we just listen to? Like, we were going nuts. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy. It kind of just like worked out perfectly because we had like the last hook, and the last hook had so much energy. And then it was just kind of like the beat. And it was like, well, it needs something. And the guitar solo, it was just, there was just enough beat at the end for the guitar solo to fit perfectly. The hook built into it perfectly. It was like, it was meant to be. Like, it worked out perfectly. Yeah.
How sick is Douglas too? Like, Douglas is a dope place to just go hang out. They've got James St. James over there that like one of my favorite human beings to work with and just a genius when it comes to audio stuff. So if you need to like ask questions, he can give you verified answers that are like above and beyond what you're looking for. But the studio setups there are amazing.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like a little bit of a hidden gem, I think, Douglas. Like the program is so, like, you cover so much, and like the teachers are dope, and like James, the tech there is, you know, a super G, you know what I mean? It's really great. I've had a really great time.
Yeah, plus you get a good workout in on your way up to Douglas because it's got that nice hill on the way up.
That hill. That hill. It's been almost 2 years and I'm not used to it.
Yeah, it's the bane of my existence for the past 2 years.
Every time I go down to Douglas, it's like, oh, I'm getting calves. My calves are getting fire walking up that little hill.
And then you get to the top of the hill and you're like, okay, I'm there. And then it's stairs.
Man, that explains why the music is so fire. These guys are motivated every time they go into the
Yeah, like, if you want to make some music, you better move, you know? Are you planning on putting out just singles on singles? Or
we definitely have some work, I would say. Yeah, I think we definitely have some work stacked up. I mean, as far as like goals and everything, speaking for myself personally, I just want to bring a new type of sound and energy to the Vancouver scene. And I think that, you know, for all intents and purposes, we're slowly accomplishing that. Yeah. And that's what's been my main, you know, driving force and motivation throughout all of this, is just wanting to create new sounds, because I think that Vancouver really has the potential to be like at the forefront of doing like some genre bending type stuff. Like, I mean, this is like trap, and there's also some like classical hip hop elements to it, and obviously like the guitar solo adds some rock elements into it. And I think like Vancouver and the Lower Mainland is an area that has like so many different cultures with unique sounds and stuff, that there's a lot of potential for everything to kind of just be mixed together. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, Vancouver is now this melting pot of incredible talent, but across all these genres, and they're all intertwining, where everybody kind of is getting to know each other, and this community is coming together, and it's going to be interesting to see how those, because you no longer have to be one style when it comes to music. You can mix all these different things together.
And I think Vancouver's a dope spot to do that at. Like I mentioned, there's like, you'll find everyone from every different background here in this city, and they all have like a unique musical background too. So, yeah.
And like, you've been working on this for a long time. Like, I've been paying attention to your career since, I don't know, 2019 or something, I think. And I found your name through Fred Banto, who's one of my favorite human beings. Salt
Yeah.
of the Earth.
Shout out Fred.
Yeah, he's down in California now, I think, and
with Baines, right?
Baines, yeah.
Baines also. Like, I've only met Baines once, but incredible talent from the city.
100%, yeah.
Also, shout out to Fade.
Okay, who's Fade?
He's Angelo. He's a dope producer that works with them as well too. Just wanted to give him a shout out. Yeah.
Dope. How'd the Fred Banto connection happen?
Yo, okay, it's literally a crazy story, man. So Fred is on my song Blue, which was on my debut EP, which dropped in 2020. And how it came about is I made the beat, and I was like, yo, this beat's crazy. And I was like, yo, I gotta get some crazy R&B singer on this. And I knew I had a deadline. I had to get it out before the beginning of 2020, because I was gonna submit it to Douglas as part of my audition. And so basically I got a singer, and he kind of strung me along for a few months and ended up not delivering. And then at the last minute, I'm like, oh, I need to find an R&B singer. And I just reached out to Fred, who I saw on Baines' Instagram story.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, Fred, I like what you're doing. Would you be able to maybe record something? And pretty much within the week, we had set up a studio session down at VPL at the Inspiration Labs. And we just hammered that out in one day. And it was just like,
that's so dope.
Wow. It was like really like, I almost didn't get to work with him. Like, if that first guy had delivered, I never would have met Fred.
Dude, that was like my favorite song off of the album too.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up getting you on the remix, like the Blue remix, which is on the deluxe version.
Which was the best thing that ever happened in my life. Obviously I'm like speaking in hyperbole, but I love that song so much. So when he sent it to me, he was like, you want to hop on the remix? I was like, are you crazy? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite Lazarous verses, bro.
Yeah, like, when I met Fred, man, he's just such a sweet human being. I want to boost his name up every chance I get, and it's just dope that you guys work together. He's got that, like, he can hit those high notes, and he can really play with it in that sweet way, and he's got such a good soul to him.
You know what's crazy about that, dude? Is like, before I even like knew you properly and Fred, I thought it was like Evan singing. Like, when I first listened to to the song, like the first time ever, I literally thought it was Evan singing.
Bro, can you imagine? Oh my God.
I was like, man, this man is so talented. He has an amazing voice, and he produces.
Yeah, I've heard Evan on his own stuff. It's actually fire.
Never that, bro. That's top secret. That's top secret. That's for SoundCloud only.
SoundCloud only. Exclusive. Yo, sell it as an NFT. Can you do that?
Yo, don't give me ideas, man. Don't give me ideas.
One of the coolest things I think that will come from this pandemic is the fact now that, like, all these artists have been able to sit at home and work on their craft. I'm excited.
Right.
I'm excited to see what the next 10 years of music looks like.
Absolutely.
And art in general, just from that, you know?
Yeah, like people have just been going ham on like we do. Like people have been going ham on their art, man. It's crazy.
Like,
I love it.
Everybody, yeah.
You even get down to like guitar skills. Like, did it give you more time to just like work on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, when you don't really have many reasons to leave the house, you're kind of just like left to your own devices, and it just kind of like breeds creativity for sure. I think that it created like a great opportunity to just like spend a lot of time just with myself, just like working on new stuff, trying out new things, whereas otherwise I'd be, you know, running around, I'd be maybe out with friends or something like that. It kind of like helped me focus in some ways. It was bad in some ways because it kind of like, you know, kind of gives you cabin fever to have to be inside all the time.
100%.
But I mean, if you're already a creative person, it kind of pushes you to explore that more and explore things that maybe otherwise you wouldn't have had the time to or even thought of doing.
Yeah, and then I think about everybody having that time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure, the cabin fever and everything. There was
Yeah.
more bad sides than good sides, but the silver lining was like the 1920s were the coolest time for art because everyone that survived World War I was like, you want me to go back to work or what? Screw that, man. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to paint a picture. It's like, I want to go live my life to its fullest. And it's like the 2020s now have the same kind of opportunity where it's like.
It's definitely the same vibe I can feel, yeah. And it's also just, I think, left a lot of room for soul searching and looking within yourself as well.
Yeah.
Finding your purpose.
So, wait, so you're 19 now.
Yep.
When did you start producing?
Yeah, I mean, it's been like a very slow kind of snowball-y effect as far as that goes. So like, technically, you know, when I was in elementary school, there was like an iPad at school that had GarageBand, and I started making beats. And then eventually, when I was in high school, I joined, we had like a DJ club. I went to Tupper in Vancouver, and we had a DJ club. And I met some cool people there, and I learned how to produce a bit on Logic when I was like 15. And just kind of over time, it was like, oh, I'd make something in Logic, and then I'd make a beat, and then I'd make a song, and then I'd make more songs. Then it just built and built and built, and it kind of took until like the pandemic for me to really level up and really start pumping out music. And now it's just kind of been an uphill slope from there. But I'd say I first kind of started really working on music as less of a hobby and more of like a passion, probably when I was about 17. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So are you using Logic now?
Yeah. So I'm still in Logic. It's kind of my baby.
Yeah.
But
everyone falls in love with their workflow.
Yeah, and that's tough switching because like we're doing Ableton right now in school, and I see the potential of it, but it's like tearing me away from my baby. You know what I mean? It's easier said than done.
Yeah, like I've done Logic, I've done FL, Pro Tools, all that, and like Ableton was just my workflow. It just worked with how my head worked, and like I'm addicted to it. I can't put Ableton down now, you know. But no, that's dope. It's always good to just find that thing that, you know, especially automation and all those little things. Like if you can just fly through it and you don't have to stop and think. It's like as soon as that thought pops in, you can hop on the computer and do your thing. It's like that's key.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at right now with Logic. It's just I'm so used to it. Yeah.
Yeah, like Sasha Bishop, who's here behind me, like I know you use FL, and it's like everyone's got their own thing. There's no right or wrong. It's just what works best for the person. Do you do any production or anything like that?
No,
or?
I'm not. I'm mostly just a rapper.
Yeah, because you only, like they say in this lifetime, you maybe have the chance to get great at one thing, two things at best. So it's like.
Well, I actually used to want to do everything.
Yeah.
And then like I spoke with my shout out to Mr. Choi, my media arts teacher from high school, W Secondary School. And, you know, he said something to me that was like really kind of pivotal for myself in terms of like what I wanted to focus my time in and everything. And if I can remember the quote exactly, it's just like, you know, to master something, you need to do it 1,000 times. Mastery comes from practicing one thing 1,000 times, not from practicing 1,000 different things.
Very true, man. Wise man. What's his name?
Mr. Choi.
Yo, big shout outs. Yeah.
He's such a
We
Zen
need great
teacher.
teachers in this life. Like, it's key to have great teachers in
Yeah.
this life. I know, like, I think if we talk just about that, I think probably all of us have had at least one or two teachers.
Because of him, I actually got to do the ACIT program at the Art Institute. Yeah.
What's that?
It was called ACIT. It was like a 2-week program at the Art Institute. This was back in 2017 when I was in grade 12. and it would have cost like I got to go in there for free because of Mr. Choi. I wouldn't have been able to afford it otherwise, but it was
Bless these people.
it was a dope experience. Like I got to learn a little bit about music theory and a little bit of about like just sound engineering and production and everything.
Yeah, it's always helpful. Like, say you get in the studio with Stvrk, it's like it's good to have that so that you can, at least understand what they're doing, even if you're not jumping into it fully. It's like it's nice to be able to understand at least what's going on over there, so you can go, oh man, could you maybe just EQ me out here or whatever? It's good.
Yeah, I talk to you about this from time to time sometimes.
Yo,
too.
from an engineer's perspective, please, if you're an artist watching this, please learn a little bit. It makes a world of a difference. Like when you work with someone who like knows a bit of theory and a bit about mixing and knows what reverb is and EQ, it's just like, oh, thank you. Like it makes my job so much easier.
Because then it's like, sorry, go ahead. I was just gonna say, because then it's not like when I walk into the studio, it's not like I'm walking like into like some alien like UFO or something.
Do you know how many times I hear "Make me sound like Drake"? Make me sound like Drake. Okay.
Like how?
Be Drake, bro.
Be Drake, yeah.
Exactly. Do you have Drake's voice? Yeah.
Like I find myself constantly teaching the artists I work with, like the side of it that I'm doing, so that they can understand it better. And you end up working with these artists for 3, 4, 5 years plus, and it's like they start to understand your mind, and they go, you can speak the language back and forth instead of them going, make me sound like Drake, or could you just make that that synth sound round or whatever. You're like, I don't know what that means, bro. Like, it's good to like teach them what you're doing as well, so that you can have that language back and forth.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's now with like how easy it is to learn all that stuff. Like, it'll take one doodle on YouTube or search on YouTube.
Yeah.
How to mix vocals, and you'll learn some of these terms and stuff like that. And it's just like it's a little thing, but it really goes a long way. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, also a little bit of, exactly like he said. I mean, back in the day, I used to drop stuff on SoundCloud and just make stuff myself. And it was just like hours of looking at YouTube videos, how to mix and master vocals, how to make your vocals sound clean, and
I never want to discourage anyone. It's like if all you have is your laptop microphone or your iPhone, still just do work. Like, do something to get yourself to the next stage. We all started somewhere, is I guess the point behind it. But
there's actually like some pretty big hip hop songs these days that are recorded on BandLab, which is an app on your iPhone. And it's like if you listen to it on Spotify, you would never guess. Yeah. But it's like the tech is so accessible and so good now that you really don't need a $10,000 microphone.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
Everyday listeners sometimes they can't even tell the difference.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like it's a lot of the times it's only like musical people that can like pick out the little things like that. But like, like I've shown my friends like literally the first piece of music I ever made. It was absolute trash. Like I was like, I hate this, is terrible, but like I showed it to them, they were like, this is the hardest thing I've ever heard, like oh my god, like stuff like that. And I'm just like, all right, like I can get away with a lot, clearly.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, like it all comes from the performance. At the end of the day, it's the performance that really is the key. Everything past that's like just whatever gear you got, just if you like making art, just use what you have and make stuff. A lot of people ask me sometimes, they're like, what should I buy to get started or whatever? I say the bare minimum you can get started with, because so many people go buy gear and they end up with all this stuff that gets dusty in a closet. It's like, just get the bare minimum. If you're trying to write songs, if you got access to a computer, some kind of preamp and a microphone, just start there. That's like, and again,
Oh man, I used to just like record stuff off of my phone, demos and stuff like that.
Kanye in 2019, Jesus is King, that album was recorded entirely on iPhone. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
like earbuds and stuff.
Yeah.
I had like a crappy Android phone. I don't even know. It was like Galaxy Generation 7 probably or something like that. Recording vocals off of that.
But you still have all those recordings?
I think I do, yeah.
Like, it's cool because you can go back on the history of it and see also the curve of the evolution of what you're doing,
Yeah, I should play one of those with an astronaut.
The difference,
side by side.
Yeah, how long you been writing songs for?
Oh man, that's a tough question to answer, because I guess like I've always been just like writing rhymes down. Like ever since elementary school, I've been into like writing poetry and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of people start with the poetry.
And it's just like, it wasn't even something that I was even thinking about like doing, if that makes sense. It's just like it was literally just like a hobby I did, right? Like I was really into rhyming and stuff. Crazy thing is back in the day I hated hip hop. I actually wasn't a rap fan. I was more of like a pop music fan, like Michael Jackson, that type of stuff. And, you know, it was until probably like, I think it was either grade 7 or grade 8 when I first like heard the College Dropout. And then it was a rap from there.
Like just very eclectic taste, eh? Like,
yeah, it was the College Dropout, and then it was Illmatic, and then from there I was just like, okay, like I'm heavy into this like hip hop thing.
I just watched that Netflix documentary. I think it's Netflix of the Nas Illmatic documentary.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was dope to do another like deeper dive into that album and understand it on a whole new level.
Yeah,
Just
man.
incredible.
Like when I first started, I was literally trying to be Nas. I was like studying
Everyone
his
should be.
like rhyme schemes and stuff, and like trying to copy it and stuff. And it took me a while to actually develop my own style and everything, but I was just imitating the greats, right? Like Nas, Rakim, KRS-One, Jay-Z, Kanye, Guru. Those are the type of people I like. I would say my foundational inspirations. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
What are you guys listening to? Like, you've got such an interesting sound on what you do. Like, what do you listen to?
Yo, man, that's always such a hard question to
I
answer.
know it is, but like outside of hip hop and pop, like
Yeah.
going back even like further.
Going
like,
back, my biggest inspiration of all time, Avicii. I was the
Oh,
biggest
yeah.
EDM fan growing
yeah.
up. Avicii and like Martin Garrix and like Son Holo, like all those future-based guys, the EDM guys. That was all I listened to back in the day. Like there's the reason I got into music is because there was this YouTube channel called Proximity, and every day they would put out a new like progressive house, like EDM future bass type thing, and I was like, this is insane, and I would just listen to that every day. Like that was like pretty much my shit until I listened to The Life of Pablo, honestly, when I was like I was like 15 or 16.
Dude, Kanye's influence is like so wide, it's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, he makes incredible sound. How can you know?
And he's so versatile, right? So I remember I listened to Ultralight Beam and I was like, what? Like, this is insane, yeah.
And like you're playing guitar at 6, so you have to be like probably playing things from. I don't imagine. I mean, maybe you are, but like I don't imagine you're creating brand new like melodies and stuff. You're playing stuff. What are you playing at 6 years old? That's incredible.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, my dad heavily influenced what I was listening to as a child, and it was kind of funny because I'd always get like crazy looks from people at like recitals and things like that when they would hear me play, because I'd play like stuff like how I did on the song, like that kind of style, and they'd be like, "Oh, well, what kind of music do you listen to?" And I'd say like, "I like Black Sabbath." And I was like,
so gnarly.
And I was this little like blonde, chubby cheek, like little 10-year-old girl, and they'd be like, "You know who that is?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." It's like that kind of stuff. That's what I was raised on. Like,
That's
yeah,
dope.
really heavy, like heavy rock, like heavy metal is what I always listen to. You can like, if you're any Black Sabbath fans, if they listen to the song even, they would be like, "Yeah, I can hear that influence 100%." Heavy rock.
As it evolved from that, like that's kind of like your dad's influence, you're saying. As it grows from that and you start getting your own taste in music, what did you like lean into?
Well, I mean, like, it's funny because the music that I play to versus the music that I listen to, like, for fun is completely opposite. Like, whereas I play, like, kind of more, like, heavy rock influenced guitar styles, what I listen to, like, my main, like, favorite genre is, like, hip-hop, R&B, that kind of stuff. And, like, I also, like, I've started making beats recently, and that was kind of like a main goal of mine, is to incorporate like the heavy rock element into hip hop to kind of make like a more unique like kind of subgenre almost, which I thought would be really cool and different. And this song kind of emulated that perfectly, because even though I didn't produce it, I loved the beat, I loved everything about it. And then I thought like adding the guitars, like I'm like, this is exactly what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean?
I hope you get a lot more work just from people hearing that. Like, play that track to the end. I hope it brings you like a bunch more work, if that's even what you're looking to do. Because
Oh, absolutely.
I want to hear that sound all over this whole Vancouver like wave that's coming up. You know?
Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. Feel me? You feel me? Yeah. I'm gonna make it forever. Yeah, I won't take it. No, never. I'm gon' make it forever. Yeah, I won't take it. No, never. I'm gon' make it forever. Yeah, I won't take it. No, never. I'm gon' make it forever. Yeah, I won't take it. Nigga, I never will lose. I can make plenty of moves. I know I'm better than most these raps, so hopping inside of a booth. Never will quit. I know that I'm winning no matter what anyone do. And had to assist. I did it alone from the bottom, was struggling through. From the womb to the tomb, I'ma hustle every hour. In the past was consumed by a lot of fucking doubters. Crabs this and last. How the hell he gon' get out here? See me coming up, then they tryna pull me down there. Screaming that's enough, I'ma do it, ain't got no fear. Drop him and I come him, nigga. I've been facing new tears. Say they dropping bombs, nigga. I be dropping nuclear. Tell them get a job, cause my fireworks like New Year's. Yeah. 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 I'm gon' make it forever. Y'all won't take it. No, never. I'm gon' make it forever. Y'all won't take it. I be 24-hour working beastin'. While these other whack rappers claim we beefin', but they all gon' cower when I reach fame. When the billboards, I was spelling last name. Oh, damn, I got the feeling there ain't never room in my brain. Focus on the goal, getting money is the main aim. Get the dough, working like Kobe in the ball game. I'ma go from nothing to me stunning some ball made. Yeah, I'ma go from nothing to me stunning some ball made. Yeah. Yeah, I'ma go from nothing to me starting some ball, man. I won't take it forever, yeah, I won't take it. No, never, I'm gon' make it forever, yeah, I won't take it. No, never, I'm gon' make it forever, yeah, I won't take it. No, never, I'm gon' make it forever, yeah, I won't take it. No, never. Thank you for having me no more. Shout out to Stvrk, shout out to Maren, it's Lazarous, we out. Thank you.
But like to jump from that, performance-wise on the music video, that's such a vibe you guys put together for
Thank
that.
you, sir.
Like I enjoyed that. It's not a music video, it's visualizer.
Visualizer,
Which is cool in a concept of its own that you guys did like this visualizer idea. Who shot that?
It was a good friend of ours, Mario.
Okay.
Piacenza, I think is how you pronounce his last name.
Piacenza.
Piacenza, yeah.
Okay.
Very Italian last name.
Yeah.
Very dope dude, very creative guy. He has a lot of great ideas, and he executed really well on the editing and everything, yeah.
Yeah, especially someone who I don't think he's done a lot of stuff in this vein, kind of music video type stuff. But if you look at what he's done, like for
you wouldn't
us,
even know.
you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that he hasn't really done that type of stuff before.
Yeah, actually, that's really impressive. This is kind of like his first time embarking on like something like this.
Yeah, he's done all our photos as well. So all of our promotional content that you've seen, all those pictures were taken by him. The cover art was a photo that was taken by him as well.
I'm glad you actually brought that up. Shout out to Mario. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I want to make sure everybody gets their credit. Like that's so key to me is that there's so many people that go into just making one song possible and then making sure that everyone gets credit for what they put in. Like, did he do the spaceship and all that too and everything?
The spaceship.
Like at the very beginning of that video, that's just a nice way to start that off. Like it's like you almost like sit down with you guys and get into the vibe before it gets into the song. Just like
that was an insane amount of editing. Like he was kind of going over it with me, and it was like, wow, like that. Like once you see all the layers, and you kind of know like what he had to do to get that.
It was
product,
crazy.
It's insane. Yeah, very admirable.
Like just to like export one of these videos takes like 3 to 5 hours for the export. Like once it's done editing and everything. Like the nice thing about audio is you just jump in and go, but with video it's like
it's a whole different ball game.
Well, it's glitching out, it's bugging out on you and everything. You're just trying to get like the work done.
And you know what I realized about this whole experience is that like actually like acting in a video is tough work.
It's so hard. Yeah.
Like staying, like keeping your energy up and everything.
100%.
It's like, oh man.
Like you get up on a stage show, it's like, okay, I got my 15-minute set, 30-minute set. I just got to go for that amount of time, and then it's just this like wave of just like go sit down
when you got
somewhere
a
and
video
collect
rolling,
yourself.
they're just like, okay, we're gonna do that again. All right, let's do a different take, a different angle, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah, there's no crowd to feed off of as well. It's just kind of like in front of a camera, and you got the song playing on like a JBL speaker, and it's like go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
you just gotta go, man.
Yeah.
You just gotta try to recreate as much energy as you can.
Well, it came together amazing. Like that video really then took that great song and tied it all together in a perfect way.
What you're saying, Laz, about like kind of building a family and building a community is so important. Like I'm part of this community, Sunnyside. It's a bit of a collective, youth collective, coming out of Burnaby, Vancouver. But yeah, that's the most important part, and I think that's what the city really needs is more community like that. So we're so happy to be a part of that and be building something.
Yeah.
I was just gonna add to that. Yeah, I mean, most definitely. One of the things that we forgot to touch on too is like through meeting Evan, I got to meet a lot of the people on Sunnyside, and I'm starting my own brand as well, 7 Studios. And if you check the credits on the song, you'll see it says Sunnyside Live in association with 7 Studios. So that's what it's all about, collaborating with each other and creating great art. Yeah.
I mean, if you know a guy named Stvrk, I don't know how you pull off the amount of work that you pull off, but like just that one man alone could help get a lot of things done.
He alone is a label.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I've done that before. People say I'm a one-man record label because I do, the mixing, mastering, production, cover art, all that stuff, promotion.
Yeah, I don't know if you listen to all of my songs, but for the song "Don't Look Back," he did the cover art for that one too.
Yeah, another great track.
Yeah.
Like people gotta go check your whole discography.
Yeah.
It's incredible what you guys have put out so far. I mean, both of you guys have put out incredible work, and excited to see what you all do. But yeah, dope. I mean, I think we've covered everything that we need to cover to make sure that people go check this song out. But most importantly, go check out this song. I mean, it's a hell of a track, and make sure you listen to it all the way through so you hear every last nuance. Go onto YouTube, check the visualizer.
I think today we've hit over 1,000 streams of views on
YouTube. Yeah.
Oh.
YouTube for the visualizer. Yeah, we should make that post, right?
Yeah, we'll do a post. Yeah.
Yeah.
And give a follow on Instagram, give a follow on Spotify, and make sure you stay up with what's coming out next, because clearly you guys have more projects coming.
Oh yeah, follow Stvrk. It's at Stvrk outside.
At Stvrk outside.
Yeah, mine is at It's Lazarus.
Mine's just Maren on Instagram.
Yeah,
And it'll all be in the description. I'll make sure that they're easy to find from this YouTube video.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys for coming out. And great to meet all of you. Yeah.
No, never. I'm gonna make it
Right.
forever. Yeah, I won't take it. Nigga, I never will lose. I can make plenty of moves. I know I'm better than most of these raps, so hopping inside of a booth. Never will quit. I know that I'm winning no matter what anyone do. And had assist. I did it alone for the